Friends, hello! Welcome to another daily devotional. Gosh, you guys, getting this devotional up today has been quite the feat. Let me tell you, I had multiple videos filmed. Long story short, the sound did not come out in the videos. They were completely silent. So, like usual, I sat down last night to go and edit my happy mail, the newsletter that I send out every single week, and the devotional that goes along with it. I sit down to edit, there is no sound. I was like, oh my goodness, no. That has literally never happened to me before in like 5 years of filming. So first time for everything, but I wanted to sit down and film this message again because I think you guys will find a lot of value from it. We are going to be based out of Mark chapter 4 today. This actually was a message that I spoke to a group of women, I think about a month and a half ago, at Unity Ministries. You guys, if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen me tag that, and it was such a message that I feel like so many people could relate to, and honestly, it was a message for me as much as anyone else. And so I wanted to sit down here today and just share that message again. And I think if you just open your heart, that God has so much that He wants to share with you through this today. So go ahead, cozy up, grab, gosh, this is going to be a later upload, but maybe you'll listen to it in the morning. So whatever time of day it is that you are finding yourself watching or listening to this video, cozy up, get your heart ready, grab a coffee, grab a tea, whatever it is, and let's go ahead and dig in. All right, so like I said, we are starting in Mark chapter 4. To give you some background, this is obviously a book in the Gospels, and so it's really just following around Jesus and his life and talking all about his disciples and just day in and day out things in the life of Jesus. So you might be familiar with it, you might not be, but let's go ahead and dig in. So it's verse 35. It says, "On that same day when evening had come, he said to them," meaning saying to his disciples, "Let us go over to the other side of the Sea of Galilee." Verse 36 says, "So, leaving the crowd, they took him with them just as he was in the boat, and other boats were with him. And a fierce windstorm began to blow, and the waves were breaking over the boat, so it was already being swamped. But Jesus was in the stern, asleep with his head on the sailor's leather cushion. And they woke him and said to him, 'Teacher, do you not care that we are about to die?' And he got up and sternly rebuked the wind and said to the sea, 'Hush, be still, muzzled.' And the wind died down as if it had grown weary. And there was at once a great calm, a perfect peacefulness." And so then it goes on to say, Jesus said to them, "Why are you afraid? Do you still have no faith and confidence in me?" They were filled with great fear and said to each other, "Who then is this that even the wind and the sea obey him?" Okay, I just love that passage for so many different reasons, but the one thing I really want to focus on today is the very first verse that I read, which was verse 35. And Jesus is telling the disciples, let us go over to the other side. Let us go over to the other side of the Sea of Galilee. So he says right off the bat, the destination, the point that they are going to go. If you can just put yourself in this story for a moment, really imagine yourself in a boat with Jesus, him telling you you're going to the other side, but then you're in this little, I'm assuming somewhat of a small boat, and the waves are starting to crash. It's a crazy storm on the sea. I don't know about you, but I cannot think of many things worse than being on a boat that is in the middle of a sea storm. To me, that just sounds absolutely terrifying. Maybe you can relate. I'm assuming you probably can. But what I think is so powerful is that Jesus says, we're going to the other side of the Sea of Galilee. And often, I think about this in my own life. Often, and maybe you can relate, it feels like a lot of the time that God will give us a promise. This could look like so many different things. This could be big, this could be small. And I'll tell you a personal story for us here in a minute. But oftentimes, I find that Jesus has this way of telling us a little bit of where we're going to go. And then it seems like we go in the complete opposite direction. Something spins out in our life, something happens, quote unquote, the sea starts to rage. And I think a lot of the times we're sitting there thinking, wait a second, did I hear you right, God? Because you said this, yet I'm going the total opposite way, or you're steering me the opposite way, or something is coming against me that feels like it is pulling me in the exact opposite direction of where you said we're going to go. Or it feels like we're never going to get there because I'm going to die in the process of getting there, right? Do you relate to that? Have you ever felt like that in in one of your scenarios in your life? It's so common, I feel, and it's just one of those things that we all have gone through, I think. So I will tell you a quick personal testimony that kind of really gives you a picture of what I'm talking about here. And then I want to give you the picture that the Lord gave me actually the morning of when I was getting ready to go speak at this women's event. I had somewhat of a different message prepared, and I was just spending time with the Lord. I just was completely silent, just listening, had my eyes closed, and he gave me this beautiful picture that was so impactful to me, and hopefully it will be to you. It's something that you can carry along with you on whatever journey that you're on. But to give you a little bit of a personal story to make this so that you can see what I'm getting at here is, and if you have been a subscriber of mine for a little while, if you've been following along, you may have heard, bits and pieces of this story. But basically the story is this. When Kyle and I first got married, my husband and I, his name's Kyle, when we first got married, we built our first home. It was totally cute, adorable. It was a great first starter home, nothing over the top, but it was perfect for us. And I had my first daughter in that home. It was just a very special place to me personally. And long story short, we started coming up against some major financial crisis things. This was a really hard year overall, a lot of loss, a lot of grief. But in the midst of all of that other stuff going on, our finances were taking a dive as well. So we basically were, up against this matter of fact of we are either going to lose our house or we're going to have to put it on the market like ASAP so that we don't lose it. So that's what we decided to do. We decided to put our house on the market. And in the middle of all that, I remember feeling like, okay, God is going to redeem this. He's going to restore this. And so we sold our house. The market is crazy where we are, and we sold our house super quick, which is a great blessing. We were able to pay some things off, and we moved into an apartment. I loved that apartment. It was amazing. I honestly, at that point in my life, just felt lucky to even be living anywhere that wasn't going to be, in our parents' basement or something like that. I just was thankful to have a place to go. And it was a cute little apartment, and it really was just the greatest gift in that point of time. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, God, you are going to restore this. You are going to redeem our finances. God, my husband's going to be blessed with this amazing job. And God, you are just going to blow us out of the water. And I know you're going to be so faithful because we have tithes. We have continued to give, all of those things. And I just felt like, okay, God is going to redeem this. And in my mind, I'm thinking, we're going to be in this apartment for 1 year. We're going to save and save and save, all this money. And then we're going to build a bigger and better house, right? That's what I had in my mind. I had in my mind from point A to point B, this is a straight shot. God, I know you can do it. I know you're able. You just need to speak the word and it is going to happen. That is kind of where my mind was at. So fast forward 3 years later, we had not only taken a deeper dive into the crisis of finances within those 3 years, but you guys, we were on food stamps. Like, I'm not kidding when I was saying, we really were in a financial crisis. And so if you are on food stamps, or if you need to be, or if you have ever been, just know that you don't have to have shame about that. That's something I'm so passionate about because I carried so much shame. I literally did not tell anybody about that. Really, it was such a gift in that season because truly we needed it so badly. And so when I say we did not have money to pay the bills, that is what I mean. It was a rough season in so many other areas, but really in our finances a lot. So again, I'm thinking A to B, we're going to be in this apartment 1 year. Anyway, fast forward 3 years, we go through some major up and downs. But after 3 years, we finally found ourselves in the place of, okay, we're back on our feet. God was faithful, and it just took a lot different route than I had first anticipated. And maybe you can relate with that, but we basically, after those 3 years, we're in a place and we're obviously in our new home now, and it's such a gift and the greatest blessing. But I can confidently tell you the biggest gift of that whole thing, after fighting to sort out things financially, get better opportunities, work and work, and just really trust God in the process, the biggest gift that we got was truly the becoming, was the journey of getting here. Yes, the house is beautiful. We are so thankful to be in it. It is absolutely a gift from God. The true gift, absolutely 100,000%, was knowing such depths of the Lord's heart through that, because there was many times where I had big questions, like in this verse, God, don't you care that it feels like we're gonna die? Don't you care that I have debt collectors calling me and I'm so afraid? Don't you care that, things are hard right now? Like, God, where are you? I know you can calm this storm in a moment if you choose. Why aren't you choosing it? And you guys, life is real. Those questions are real. And one of the biggest things I can encourage you with is take those questions to Jesus. Don't just harbor them in your heart and become, resentful or angry. It's okay to have anger, but take it to the Lord. Ask him those hard questions. You might not get this big booming answer, but through experiences, for me personally, is how God teaches me a lot, is through experiences, through learning, journeying along the way. And I just would encourage you, if you're in that rough season of, just like this, verse says of the disciples, Jesus, don't you care that we're going to die? Ask God those questions. Don't just sit over on the other side of the boat and be angry about it. Ask him those hard things, because he does care and he is so beyond faithful. And so the true gift in all of that was knowing the depths of the Lord's heart in such a deeper, richer way, and truly being able to trust him to take care of not only me, but my family, being able to trust him in such a different level that I just simply would have never known had we not struggled the way that we struggled. Of course, I would not want to walk through that again, but my gosh, the things that I was able to carry with me through all of that I carry now because of going through those hard things, is just simply irreplaceable. And I just value that so much, of what God birthed in us through the hard season. And so to kind of wrap up and give you a picture of just really, I feel like just, how would I say this? Like the picture that really wrapped up, encapsulated that season in for me, which I didn't even realize that. But when the Lord was giving me this picture, I just was like, oh my goodness, this is exactly what was happening. And so if you want, you can close your eyes if you are not driving or anything like that, but just try to focus in on this picture and really picture yourself in this story, okay? So I just imagined the Lord handing me a promise. This could be so many different things. It could be a promise of children, of having a family, of having restoration in a relationship, of breaking through in finances, of, God giving you passions or letting you see what you were created to be. All of these different things, they're all promises. And so when I say promise, it can be just a big old range of things. But I imagined Jesus handing me a promise and saying, hey daughter, here you go. This is where we're going. This is the destination. Will you go on a treasure hunt with me? And me just being like, yes, a treasure hunt with Jesus. That sounds amazing. Like, I wonder what we're going to find. So I imagine going hand in hand with the Lord and him telling me, for me and my story, okay, we are going to redeem your finances. We are going to redeem this part of your story. And I'm like, yes, this is the best treasure hunt of all time. I knew it. And so I'm looking, let's imagine I'm just standing right here. Here is point A to point B, straight shot of a direction, right? And so I'm saying, Jesus, I know the way. I know exactly what you can do. I know that you can just get us a great job. I know that you can pay off these debts. I know that we can just sort all of this out. So let's just go ahead and go this way, right? How often do we do that in life, you guys? Come on, I cannot be the only one who always has a plan. And then Jesus is like, hey daughter, I love you so much that I actually want to develop a lot of things through you in this process. So you're going to have to trust me, and we're going to go over here, go this way. And at first it's like this wrestling of Jesus, like, what are you talking about? We just need to go this way. And I'm like, okay. I trust you. I know that I trust you. I'm going to let you lead the way. So imagine just walking. We're going on this treasure hunt. And then all of a sudden, what happens? Life happens. Something hard happens. And I'm like, Jesus, this is painful. This is hard. And I just imagined him turning around, grabbing a treasure out of his pocket and handing it to me and saying, here you go. This is your first treasure. And this treasure could be peace. It could be strength for that moment. It could be being brave or courageous in a moment. It could be knowing his heart in a deeper way. There's so many gifts that I feel like the Lord wants to give each and every one of us. So we keep walking and I put this treasure in my pocket. And then it starts to get even harder. Things are we're going even further, it feels like, from the promised land, from the place that he promised that we would go. And so I'm like, Jesus, here we go. What verse was that? Where they're like, Jesus, don't you care that we are going to die? So I'm imagining, Jesus, don't you care that I am terrified? Don't you care that I am in pain? Don't you care that this is hard? And I know that you can take this away, and why won't you? And I imagine Jesus just turning around again, pulling out another treasure, giving me something to sustain me in that moment. And so you keep going, treasure after treasure, hard moments where Jesus is just so stinking sweet and tender and faithful and such a good father and continues to develop me along the journey. And so then we get to a point where I'm worn out and I'm weary, and I just had this picture of the Lord just throwing me on his back and continuing to walk until I had my strength again, where we could walk hand in hand again. And so you can imagine this process continuing on until we somehow going like this, weaving our way in and out of all the hard things and all the fun things and all the beautiful things and all the crazy things that life hands our way. And so we've gone on this journey, and along the journey, he's handed us treasures that we have stuck in our pockets. And this is what happens when we press into Jesus in the hard things. This is what happens, is that we get treasures in return. And so, we're going through up and down. You could picture a mountain, wherever this treasure hunt would be for you. And then it's like you circle back and you're at the place that he first promised you would be. And my guess is that it's a lot different than what you had in mind. It's probably a lot of a different journey than what you had first anticipated. And I'm guessing that because you're human and I'm human, and that's just how our minds go, right? We can just tend to take what the Lord promises us and run with it. And sometimes it might happen how we think, and other times it might be a treasure hunt where he's like, hey, we're going to go a different way, but my word is still good. I am still true. I am still faithful. He's not just the promise maker, but he's also the promise keeper. And we can trust him. And so if he's inviting you on to a treasure hunt, or maybe you've been on the treasure hunt and you didn't even realize you were on the treasure hunt, my encouragement to you would be, take all the treasures that you can gather along the way. Why? Because when you get to the place, just like in this verse where he, promised the disciples, we are going over to the other side of the sea. When you finally get to that place, or for Colin and I, when we're finally in this house that he promised that we would have, it's not just that the destination is so beautiful, and it is, and it's amazing, and that can bring joy and that can bring contentment. But like I said earlier in the video, the real treasure, the real gift is all of those treasures that you and I have now accumulated in our pockets that we get to carry with us throughout the rest of our life. What was birthed inside of you during a hard season, if you press in and you continue to walk hand in hand with Jesus, the gift, the great thing is that all of that stuff that was birthed inside of you, you now get to take into every other season of your life. You get to take those as treasures, as something that you fought for, as something that you were given as a gift from Jesus. And it could be something that you had to really fight for, or it might have just been something that God was like, hey, I'm just going to bless you with my peace today because I know that you're really, really needing it. But those gifts that we accumulate, we get to bring with us. And so that is the real the real gift of all gifts is that we are just on this journey with Jesus. It's all about the relationship. It's all about knowing his heart in a deeper way. It's all about letting him develop us into the people that we were supposed to be. And no, he doesn't bring about the wind and the waves to try to sink your boat and see if you're going to call out, but he can use those hard things to develop you and grow you and to nurture your heart and to let him, really work and mold and form our hearts like clay. One of my favorite songs right now is The Potter and a Friend, I think is what it's called. I'll link it down below, but it's by Dante Bowe. And it's just this beautiful picture of a potter and molding the clay and making something beautiful out of nothing. And that just speaks to my heart so much. And maybe it will yours too. If you're needing a good worship song, turn that one on after this video. But I can just encourage you and tell you that choosing to walk with Jesus through hard things will only benefit you, I promise. And I said this at the gathering that I spoke this message at, and just being real. Take Jesus out of the equation of our treasure hunt, and we're walking through hell, right? You guys, like, come on, let's be real here. It's hard, and I have walked through hard things before I gave my life back to the Lord, and I've walked through hard things with Jesus. Can I just tell you that you can be walking through hell, but if you are hand in hand with Jesus, continuing to seek his heart, he somehow, I don't know how, but because he's God, he gives us treasures along the way. And it's just so rewarding to continue to say yes to the Lord and trust him and know that he's faithful, know that he has not left or forsaken you, know that he cares about every single detail, know that he will pick you up and put him on his back when you need him to. Know that he will stop and talk to you and pause along the journey so that you can regain your footing, so that you can remember where you're going, remember where the promise is leading you to. And he's just such a faithful father. So if you find yourself this morning walking through something hard, remember to ask Jesus to come along with you and invite him into your space, invite him into the hard stuff, into the good stuff, into the beautiful stuff. Because when Jesus is in the equation, he has this way of making everything beautiful and taking something out of nothing and creating beauty. And it's just such a tangible piece of his love that he gives us over and over and over again. And the other thing I want to just ingrain into you today is that whatever you fight for, whatever you are willing to fight for in healing, you get to pass that down as a free gift to your kids or your great grandkids. You get to pass this stuff down for generations. The stuff that I'm fighting for, the stuff that my husband and I are fighting for, to fight for healing, to fight for healthy marriage, healthy family, healthy finances, being good stewards of what we are given. We get to pass those things down. And so it's important. It's important to be brave, to go on the treasure hunt, to not deny Jesus of the treasure hunt, but to go there with him and trust that he is going to truly make something beautiful out of it. And you will get there where he promised you. It just might look different than what you originally thought. But the amazing thing is he's God and he's good and his nature is good and he cares for you. So you can trust that it's going to be a good journey with the Lord, that it might look different, but you're going to come out so much stronger, so much more in the likeness of Jesus. You're going to be continued to be molded and formed into the image of God. And that is when you are going to bring other people hope. You're going to let your light shine into other people's lives and you'll be able to help people along the way. I have such a heart for people that are really struggling in finances because I know what that's like. And when you know what something is like, you can truly offer such powerful prayer and words of encouragement and truly have empathy for somebody that can bring healing. And so just know that whatever you're fighting for, whatever you're wading through, maybe not right now, but maybe in the future, just know that God doesn't let anything go to waste. And he will not only bring healing for you, but he will also let you, if you want, spill that healing out into other people's lives and let you be a voice to bring healing and God's love to them as well. So I hope that you found that to be encouraging this morning. If you did, if you know of someone that could really use this, please pass it along, share it with a friend, and just know that God sees you today and that you are so important to Him and so highly valued by Him, and you are the treasure of His heart. I pray that you guys have the most incredible day today, and I will see you guys in the next video. I've got lots and lots of videos that I have in mind, and I'm really trying to focus on getting more content out for you guys. I know a lot of you guys have been asking for that. So I have many more videos to come. So if you want to be notified, go ahead and press that subscribe button. Do the little bell notification if you do want notifications of new uploads. And other than that, you guys, I will see you in the next video. And I hope that you have truly the most beautiful day, the most beautiful week. I hope that you have an amazing holiday with your family or friends or wherever you're at. Wherever you find yourself, and know that I am always an email away, that if you need a listening ear or if you want to connect with people down in the comments, please do that because we're truly better together. So have the most beautiful day, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye.